Hello, David here with Stupid Things People Do and what we can learn from them. Today, we're continuing our series on investigations. Now, in keeping with our theme and my many promises, we're going to be going back and looking at a past example for this vlog. Now, I've been saying we'll revisit this for a while, and you may remember I redid it so it'd be high quality so you can go back and reference it. Today, I'm returning to the Rosebud Restaurant vlog. So what is the Rosebud Restaurant, you might ask? Well, it's a restaurant chain for one, but one of their locations was the "you're the reason the label says caution, don't lick the spark plugs" levels stupid. Now, for those of you who saw that episode, no, that's not a reuse joke. What are you talking about? I only have fresh content here. And for those of you who haven't seen it yet, a link is going to be in the description down below. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick update for people who haven't seen it and are not going to watch the Rosebud Restaurant vlog. There's this server. This time we're going to call her Sky to protect her privacy, and she was being harassed. She complained about harassment, both sexual and racial, and then she got fired for those complaints. That's the number one reason why the location wins that stupid prize. But there's a second reason they're our MVP stupid person, and that came up during the ensuing lawsuit, which they absolutely botched. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but the big picture here is when should you investigate? According to some people, there are a myriad of reasons why you shouldn't investigate. For example, perhaps the complaint was not submitted in writing, or perhaps the complainant hasn't technically violated any laws, or maybe the witness only saw but did not actually experience the behavior. Or maybe you think it's not causing any harm. And maybe you decide you want to resolve things one-on-one instead of a whole-blown investigation. And maybe the complainant hasn't actually threatened legal action yet. Those are all terrible reasons not to investigate. Seriously, if the complaint is written, unwritten, clearly illegal, or just an ethical violation, or if it's a witness, or the actual alleged victim, you want to investigate before you are involved in some kind of legal action. And for the love of dear Marvel's Loki, don't try forcing potential victims to confront the harassers directly. Anyway, to the point. When should you investigate? Immediately, before the complaint explodes or escalates into what for Rosebud Restaurants became a minefield. A minefield that, if they had investigated and responded properly to, they could have avoided or at least navigated. You see, during Rosebud's litigation, the EEOC discovered there had been multiple complainants by workers who'd been harassed by the same person and at that same location. The EEOC turned up a whole history of previous lawsuits alleging racist hiring practices. Those are bad prizes. It's like smashing a piñata, but instead of being full of candy, it's full of landmines. Anyway, again, we return to the point. When should you investigate, and how does this connect to Rosebud Restaurants? Well, to answer that question, let's summarize what happens when you fail to properly investigate. Rosebud, piñatas, landmines, boom. No more organization. Failing to investigate doesn't guarantee your organization will be financially ruined. But it really opens up that possibility via serious misconduct allegations that may be lying just underneath the surface of complaints. If these go unaddressed and undiscovered until suddenly you find yourself in court with a whole lot to answer for, well, that is the Rosebud Restaurant scenario. And that's the thing. Failing to investigate or conducting a poor investigation can leave you on the hook for some serious liability. Sometimes that's literally the only thing you get in trouble for, not investigating. The point of an investigation is to address problems before they metastasize, and to bring healing to people who have been harmed before they are more greatly harmed. If you have an observance, a complaint, a grievance, a reported violation of policy, it doesn't matter whether it's reported formally or informally. You should look into it. If you observe changes in organizational morale, look into it. Seriously, on that last one, improving your company morale alone and communicating care for employees, that should be worth it on face value. Many organizations save more money by cultivating a healthy work environment than they would have lost through bad morale. The most transparent example of this is if morale is bad and people are quitting, you have to retrain them, and that gets really expensive. And this isn't even going into how much money you save by not getting involved in costly litigation. Also, you should investigate if there has been an administrative agency inquiry. And of course, if there is a legal demand or action, that'll need to be investigated too. But ideally, you should have started your investigation before it escalates to that point. Thank you so much for listening to Stupid Things People Do and What We Can Learn from Them, Investigations Edition. I'll see you next week.